Tanveer, where in the world are you joining us from?
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm eating chocolate covered badams because room service has not opened yet. And having a cup of coffee. So yeah,
Good for your memory. What's the time there?
I think right now it's like 8, but I've been doing interviews since I think 6:30. And yeah, I'm gonna pretend like the lower half of my frame is not pajamas. And it's like,
Have
oh,
you
this.
ever done Zoom shows as well that early in the morning? Just wondering if you can
Uh,
make money that early in the morning.
yeah, when I was doing those charity shows to raise the money, we do like a London show, we do like a New York show, etc. So I'd have to wake up at like 7:30 in the morning and do stand up for people in New York because it was night time for them. So literally no underwear, in pajamas, doing stand up. It's a weird trip.
And I know
Thank
you're
you.
back to touring, but
Yeah.
it's like almost a full circle. It's like you've received a nomination as well for your in-person show. Now you're back to in-person. Uh,
Yeah.
did you believe it when you first heard the news? And what was your reaction?
I was in London and I had two shows that night at the Soho Theatre. So it was about 3 p.m. and I was taking a nap, um, which I do before a show. And then I got a tweet and I'm like, okay. Then I got another tweet and Twitter's not real. So I was like, this is not real. And then the International Emmys tweeted their nominations and I clicked, this is something. And my wife and my best friend were there
Your
and
wife is
they
not
had
your
a
best
glass of
friend?
champagne. I couldn't because I was performing that evening.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. I think that's disastrous for a marriage. Uh,
That's
you
it.
need to have friends that you can
Wife
talk to
and best.
about your spouse.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then I was just in a blanket, and then they ordered tikkas, and we had kati rolls, and I don't think I ever left the blanket and just went back to the nap. I don't think it's fully
Why
kind of hit.
tikkas and kati? Okay, London still, that's almost like London food, but still,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm very simple. Like I need wherever I am in the world, I need like Indian food twice a week. That's my thing.
I've seen that you've shot this at Famous Studio, right? And no wardrobe
Like, I'm sure.
because you are very minimalist in that sense,
Yeah.
that giving away your.
So the one show where we decided to just do away with all the artificialness of my industry and just keep it authentic to what the country is. It's nice to have that fulfilled. For that to go this far is a strange trip.
I think the pandemic, you've always been wholesome, but I feel like it's made you even more wholesome, especially your last special, Outside In. That was, I feel like, your most emotional special yet, because it had that kind of connect, the human connect, and that was a very special one. But we've had these conversations about the pandemic, performing the pandemic, and
Yeah.
I see you're back to touring, like international touring.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I'm not gonna lie. To get up, my first show was for 250 people, which was still shaky. To do it again after
When was
18
this?
months
When was this?
in London at the Soho Theatre.
When?
Because I just had about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Okay, recent.
So yeah, and I hadn't performed for more than 30 people in close to 2 years. So to suddenly have the pace and the laughs of bigger room, and now in America I'm doing large rooms, which are vaccinated and tested and all of that stuff. So it's finding one's feet again, but also finding oneself changed as an artist. So I'm definitely early in the process. I think I start doing really, really big venues in the end of November. So I do Town Hall, I do the Kennedy Center, I do. So right now I'm just in clubs. I'm in tiny clubs trying to get a really good show ready. So I'm cooking right now, trying to feel it out again.
I'm very interested in what you're cooking up. You're always experimenting, and that's what
Yeah.
what's the name of this tour called?
The show's called Manic Man, and it's about a battle with your own mind. And it's about being an overthinker and the relationship between overthinking and good memories and trying to create good memories. So I think that's the kind of, the theme, if you will, of the show. And I'm also on a bit of a minimalism trip. So it's about that as well. It's just about doing away with life and possessions.
I know we spoke about your minimalist trip, about you've been giving away your possessions, your clothes. It started with. What else has it extended to? Your books, maybe?
Yeah. So I sold every possession that I had in the last 10 years. So in about a month and a half ago. So we literally had a garage sale and, we moved house and So my wife still has everything that she
Hmm.
that she has, but I literally, I think I'm down to two suitcases is everything I own in the world right now.
When you're a celebrity, it's not called selling, it's called auctioning. Why didn't you do that?
We did, and then it all went to dog charities. So that's what it was called Veer Das's garage sale, and but literally everything's gone, and it is extremely freeing, liberating feeling to literally have nothing.
I know that because even your celebratory champagne, I think that you received, you left that at Hyde
Yeah.
Park. That was a
Yeah,
very,
and some kid like cycled some
I saw that.
16 minutes, maybe cycled 2 miles and went and got it. And then I'm doing something in LA as well, where the rule is every time I buy something new, I
Huh.
give something away. So if you buy a new hat, you give a hat away. So I need a new suitcase which I'm going to go buy today, and I have a nice leather suitcase which I'm going to give away to some Indian kid today. That's the rule,
All right, that seems, everyone want to be around you, right? You're always giving away all these cool things. Yeah, one more reason
right?
to flock
I'm
around.
just bribing people into being my fans. That's all this is.
In
It's
person.
barter bribery. It's
Yeah.
not the comedy.
Yeah, in person, they're going to be mobbing you for your possessions, literally, Veer. They're going to be like that
Yeah.
watch, like that Seinfeld episode with Kramer and the jacket. They're going to ask you,
Yeah.
what are you going to do with this one? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen. But, congratulations on the Emmy. And speaking of minimalism, you are also choosing an Indian designer to wear on the red carpet. And I found a very
Yes.
egalitarian way how you're doing it. You want to support somebody who's young and upcoming. I imagine you can be dressed by the best, but you want to support someone who's desi, who has that indie spirit. I think that's also very cool. So I feel like you're trying to support artists in every single way that you can.
I mean, for me, it would feel extremely disingenuous to do a show like For India, which was literally an elimination of swag,
Hmm.
ultimate humility, and then suddenly be like, okay, now big fancy designer, big fancy suit, let's go to the Emmys, etc. Um, if you look at who's at the Emmys this year, and if you look at even from India, who's nominated, I'm the one guy you don't expect to be there. You know, uh,
That's
we're
not
not a
true. You
Bollywood.
have so many firsts. You had like you were on Times Square. You were alongside
True,
Jerry
the
Seinfeld.
God has been very kind, but I'm saying we're not backed in
Hmm.
any way. In terms of there's no big Bollywood backing. We're not, etc., etc. We're the wild card at the Emmys this year. So I'd love to take a wild card with me. I'd love to be wearing a wild card suit. I'd love to be wearing a wild card's shoes or whatever. Somebody who doesn't belong, I'd love to take them along with me because that's the intention of the show.
That's excellent. And after this, after you win the Emmys, what's next?
We're up against Call My Agent, so we'll see. Um, I am going to tour for a bit. I acted a lot in the pandemic. I just wrapped up an acting project that was kind of the toughest thing I've ever done. So I need a break and just need to, I was getting up and doing yoga at 5 a.m. and protein shakes and all of that nonsense. So I just need to drink some beer and eat some pizza and tour the world for about 3 months. I'll come back to India and I'm going to try and restart the stand-up scene. So I'm going to do the largest ever tour I've ever done as the country reopens. And then I'm going to do two movies. So that's one in India, one abroad. So that's the year, I think.
Usually people have a one movie a year and then a comedy special the next year. I think since the last year began, you had your Be Us for India in January, then you had Hasmukh coming out, then you started the Zoom shows, then you had Outside In, and then you have this. I'm sure I missed out something in the middle. I think you had an international show come out as well in the middle.
I had a Judd Apatow movie
Yes, you had a
in February.
Absolutely. Yes, you did have a Judd up. You had an international project come out. Yeah. And I know I missed a lot more in the middle, but it's really cool how you keep productive, positive, and I feel like you're always improving upon yourself. That's the endeavor.
I think so. I think what the pandemic did is you kind of lean into the DIY spirit that you
Hmm.
have in you. And I think for guys like me who have been DIY for 10 years already, when the pandemic happened and everybody was DIY, we kind of had a bit of an advantage because we were already doing it for like a decade, saying,
Hmm.
"Acha, khud likhna padega, khud produce karna padega, khud stage saaf karna padega, etc." So when the pandemic happened, a lot of guys who were just market force guys were like, "Abhi khud karna padega," and we were like, "Arey, humko aata hai, hum 10 saal se kar rahe hain," So we we were really able to capitalize on that, self creation.
I like how your DIY was actually work and everyone else's DIY was tie and dye and banana bread. But there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
none
yeah.
of none of them being nominated for an Emmy. Here you are, Veer, an epitome of work hard, go to bed early, give away everything. It's like the Buddha's journey that we're witnessing currently, I feel.
I don't think so. I think as you really the reason that I'm doing it is as you get older and older as a comic, you get better and you have to hone your voice. But you struggle for new perspectives. No, nobody wants to listen to thoughts from the comedian who's like, I was on my private jet yesterday, or or I was at a five-star hotel yesterday.
Yeah.
So you have to put yourself through new experiences so that your brain grows a little bit and so that you find new perspectives. So this is just me putting myself through the ringer. And I also think that the universe is a beautiful place in that when you decide to stop chasing, it
Hmm.
sends things your way. That's really what the last 2 years of my life have been about, where I'm like, I'm just going to stop chasing. I'm just going to do my thing. And then suddenly the universe is like, all right, here's some stuff to be grateful for. So that's what this is about.
That's a cool new perspective. Thank you,
Yeah.
Veer. And I hope you find a lot of jokes from your experiences. And
Thank
we're
you.
here to listen to them. And we're rooting for you at the Emmys. Go win it. Thank you.
Thank you.